Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be the second to last classic movie review I have to review to you guys. As I said, I have 2 movies left, and the movie I'm going to be reviewing to, I am literally so happy that I can finally review this movie to you. I have been waiting so long to watch this movie, and I'm going to be reviewing what is probably the movie that I've wanted to see the most out of, and what I mean by that is, out of any classic movie that I've reviewed to you guys. This is the movie that I have been looking forward to the most, even though it's not the last movie. Out of any movie, this is the one I wanted to look forward to the most. As I got to other movies, I'm like, I want to see this more. I kept wanting to see this movie, but I'm like, you know what, I'm going to wait till it is time to watch this movie. And that movie is the 1997 epic, romantic drama disaster film classic, Titanic. Yes, I have wanted to see Titanic for probably since I started these classic movie reviews for you guys. I've wanted to see this movie for so long, and I'm so happy that I finally saw it. I mean, seriously, I am so happy I finally saw it. I finally checked it out, and I'm just really happy I finally checked it out. And overall, what did I think of Titanic? Titanic might be my personal favorite movie of all time. And you guys might be thinking I'm overreacting here, but I'm really not. There was not one time in this movie that I was bored. There was not one time. There was nothing I had a problem with. I was connected to all the characters. I really loved the story of Titanic. It affected me. It did everything that I wanted in a movie. It had everything I wanted in a movie. And it is an absolute masterpiece. It is not only a masterpiece, it is the best classic movie I reviewed. And not only is it that, it is probably my favorite film that I've seen in my life. So let's just get to what Titanic's about. Now, that's one of the reasons why I love this movie, is because the plot of Titanic is very complex, very long to explain, but let's just get to it. Basically, we start off in the present time. There are these, there's this treasure hunter, Brock, and his team. They're researching, for this vessel, during the wreck of the RMS Titanic, they're trying to find this necklace, with a rare, because there's a diamond inside of it called the Heart of the Ocean. So obviously, everyone wants this necklace because they can find the diamond and become rich, basically. And they end up recovering this drawing of a young woman, wearing the necklace. No, she's just wearing the necklace. She's just wearing the necklace. And, it's dated April 14th, 1912. The day the ship struck, which is the day the ship struck the iceberg. So then we see, this girl, Rose, and, she is watching, this on TV with her granddaughter, and, she calls them up, and, she talks to them, and they're like, ma'am, do you know anything about this drawing? And she's like, yes, the woman in the drawing is me. Now, they do not believe her. They think she's, crazy or whatever. They think that there's no way it can be her, because they're pretty sure that Rose Dawson died the day of the day the Titanic sunk. They're pretty sure of that. But she decides to go ahead and tell them her story. And from here, the story is in the past. And basically, when we get to the past, in 1912, the movie is divided into 2 parts. The first part, we see, the characters. We meet 2 of our characters. First, you have Rose, who is very much, Rose DeWitt. She is engaged to this guy, Cal. And she's boarding the Titanic. She's very, very bored, though. She's not happy. You can clearly see she's not happy. And it's not going well for her at all. She has this very rich family who don't want to have any fun. They're very rich. They're very spoiled. They're kind of the people, they talk like this, and they have very, very, very rich. And, they're very, very rich, definitely. So, definitely a very rich background. Then you also have Jack Dawson. He is a penniless artist, and he is playing a game of poker with his friends, and he ends up winning in the poker game a couple tickets to the RMS Titanic. He's a traveler. He loves to travel. He's just coming back from Paris, and he's boarding the Titanic because the Titanic's going to America, and basically he ends up meeting up with Rose on that Titanic. And, he ends up stopping her from committing suicide. She almost jumps from the ship and commits suicide. And basically, the first part is just them becoming, he really wants her to get over her fear, let loose a little bit, become a little bit more fun, things like that. And then the second part of the movie, so yeah, that's the first part of the movie. Second part of the movie is when things get crazy, they hit the iceberg and shit goes down, and that part is when the movie turns into a disaster movie. But throughout the whole movie, I was into the whole movie. I thought the whole movie was fantastic, and that's one of the reasons why I absolutely love this movie. Now let's first talk about this movie. This movie was actually made because James Cameron had an inspiration for shipwrecks. He had an inspiration for shipwrecks, and he wanted to convey the emotional message of the tragedy, and he decided to do a love story because it was more of a story, of the human loss. That's what he wanted to do. And, this film was the most expensive film ever made at the time. It had $200 million. I mean, that's a lot of money there. So, that's definitely one of the biggest things here. But definitely, the film is definitely worth every penny. I mean, seriously, the film, I would pay $1 million for this film. I really would. I would pay $1 million to see this film. I really would. I'm not kidding here. Let's get to the acting in this movie. Sorry guys, I'm really going off track here. I just really love this movie to death. Let's get to the acting. First, our main star here is Leonardo DiCaprio, my favorite actor of all time. And this is by far, in my opinion, Leonardo DiCaprio's best performance. I mean, The Aviator is amazing, don't get me wrong. That's probably his second best performance. This is his best performance, in my opinion. I loved his character. I loved how happy-go-lucky his character sort of was, he did whatever he could to make Rose happy. He cared so much about her. He wanted everything, to go well for her. He cared so much about her. And just from the moment you see him, from the moment he comes onto the screen, and, he's playing cards with his friends, I was sucked into his character from them. He is such a great character to watch. And, the thing is, when it comes to the shipwreck, he cares so much about her safety. He does whatever he can to keep her safe, and he saved her, definitely, and he was just a very great character to watch. I thought he was absolutely amazing, just so good in the movie, just so absolutely amazing, just really, really great acting from him. Kate Winslet plays, Kate Winslet played Rose. I don't know who played Rose when she was older, but Kate Winslet did play Rose when she was, a teenager in the 1900s, and she was absolutely amazing. What I loved about her character was, in the first few minutes, her character is very, very lost. She almost killed herself. She's not happy, and Jack sort of saves her from that, and the chemistry between these two are just amazing. I mean, you guys could say, yeah, the first hour and a half is a cheesy romance film. It's really not, because the way that the two go so well together, it seems so realistic. And that's one of the things I love about this movie. The acting seem realistic. I don't see Leonardo DiCaprio as Jack. I see Jack Dawson. I don't see Leo playing Jack. I see Jack Dawson. I don't see Kate Winslet playing Rose. I see Rose, definitely. That's what I see. And they just go so well together, and I thought they were awesome together. Just one of the best, probably the best chemistry I've seen from any romantic movie. They had the best chemistry I think I've ever seen. Seriously. They were so good together. So good that they actually made a movie in 2007 called Revolutionary Road, where they reunited because they were so good together. I don't think it worked out so well. I don't believe it worked out so well, but I definitely want to check that out. But they were just so good in this movie. Absolutely fantastic. Billy Zane. This is the guy you're supposed to hate in the movie. He's basically one of the biggest dicks in movie history. He plays this guy, Cal. Cal is this guy that Rose is engaged to, and, let me just talk about how bad this guy is. All he cares about is the moolah. He is completely arrogant, completely snobbish. The first second you meet him, he is completely arrogant. The first second, you're like, okay, I hate this guy already. He becomes increasingly jealous of, her relationship with Jack. And when the boat's about to sink, the one thing that he's worrying about is his money. He's like, oh my god, I've been robbed. That's what he cares about. The boat's about to sink. It's like, hello, you're in a crisis here. Why are you worried about the boat sinking? Seriously, this guy is one of the most unlikable characters in movie history, but he did a really great job at playing that, character. You hate his character, but you love to hate his character, because Billy Zane gave a really great performance, in my opinion. Very, very good acting from him. Really, really good. Kathy Bates played Molly Brown, you know, the unsinkable Molly Brown. Very, very good acting. Remember, I like that she cared about Jack and wanted to clean Jack up and, you know, make Jack look presentable. I really liked her character. You know, she didn't do too much in the movie, but I liked her character overall. She was definitely good. Frances Fisher as Ruth, she played Rose's mother. Very, very controlling of the movie. Definitely very controlling. I thought, you know, definitely that she was very controlling, but she did a good job at playing very controlling. And then there's also Gloria Stuart as you know, the older Rose. Definitely really, really good. You could see how emotionally affected she was by this, you know, by what was going on, and, you know, by the whole, you know, Titanic sinking. You could see how affected she was by that, and it was just so, so good the way they portrayed that. So yeah, that's really all the acting I'll talk about. I mean, I could talk about everyone in this movie. Everyone gave an awesome performance. If I did not mention them, everyone gave an awesome performance. Victor Garber has a great supporting role. The two guys who, you know, are checking the ship and the ones that shout iceberg, they also did very well. Everyone in the movie was absolutely fantastic. There was not one performance that I thought was bad. Everyone was great. Let's get to the directing of this movie. The movie is directed by James Cameron, and wow, he did an amazing job in this movie. He won the Oscar for Best Picture. He won the Oscar for Best Director. This movie deserves that so much. I mean, I don't think there was any other movie in 1997 that was as good as Titanic, in my opinion. I mean, really, there wasn't. James Cameron, though, did an awesome job directing this movie. I mean, the way the ship is designed, even, the way the ship was designed, I mean, you can see why the movie cost so much, because, think about it, you have to make this huge ship that's going to sink. This huge ship, you have to make that. And it's a realistic set. It's an actual set. You know, the set was on the ship. So, because, you know, James Cameron likes to make things look realistic, and he set the tone perfectly in this movie. That's the thing I love about this movie so much. This whole movie, the whole time, nothing felt contrived, nothing felt unrealistic. Everything felt extremely realistic in this movie, and that's one of the things I loved about this movie. Everything felt really realistic. Even though Jack and Rose were not real people, the incident, you know, everything was going on in the movie, you know, the whole ship sinking, that felt very realistic, and the way Cameron portrayed that was just so, so well. He did a great job doing that, and that was just awesome. The score to this movie, oh my god, the song My Heart Will Go On is one of the most well-known songs in movie history. It's such a good song that I watched the credits because I wanted to hear that song. That song fits this movie so well. There's a reason why that song is still on the top, you know, if you go to iTunes and you go to soundtracks on iTunes, that is still one of the top songs. There's a reason why. Because it fits the movie so well. I mean, just the way it fits the movie is so well. It fit the movie so well, and I thought they did an awesome job with that song, definitely. Really, really great job there. The cinematography, oh my god, the cinematography. This is some of the best cinematography I think I've ever seen in my life. Probably the best cinematography I've seen. The ship looks so realistic. The sets look so realistic. Everything looks so realistic, and the thing about this movie is you feel like you're on the Titanic with them. That's the thing. Titanic is not just a movie. It's an experience, especially towards the second half. You feel like you're there on the boat. This ship is going to sink, and you feel you're on that ship with them. The way they did it, there are parts where they will just show you what the ship looks like, and it's horrifying to look at because it's just like, you know this happened in real life, and that's what's so sad about this movie, is that this happened in real life, keep in mind, and I thought that was just so well done, the way they did that cinematography. Awesome, awesome cinematography there. So, so good. The editing to this movie, I thought the editing was perfect, in my opinion. I have no issues with the editing whatsoever. This movie is over 3 hours, and I had no issues with it at all. It moved by so quickly for me. Everything moved by so quickly, and I was upset when this movie was over. I really was. I was like, oh, the movie's over, because I wanted to see more of it. I really did. I mean, I love the way the movie ended. It didn't need to be any longer than it was, but the editing was perfect in this movie. Perfect editing. Definitely perfect editing. The movie did get, as I said, a lot of awards, things like that. And now we are going to get into spoilers. I'm sure you guys know the spoilers to Titanic. It's a pretty well-known spoiler. In fact, Titanic is one of the most, biggest movie spoilers of all time. People know the spoiler. But in case you guys have never seen Titanic and you don't know if you have not seen Titanic, pause this video right now. I'm not kidding. Pause this video right now. Stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing. Do not watch anything in this review. Stop what you're doing. Go onto Netflix and watch Titanic, or rent it, or do whatever you have to do. Just watch Titanic and then come back to this review. Because if you guys have never seen Titanic, do yourself a favor and check it out. So, let's get to the spoilers. Of course, as we know, I think the thing that made this movie so good for me was when the ship started to sink, because that whole time it's a survival tale. That's the part of the movie where people are doing stupid things. You don't know why they're doing them. People are starting to jump off the boat. People are starting to, shoot themselves. People are starting to shoot people. And it's like, why are you doing that? Well, think about it. If it really, again, as I said, Titanic is an experience, because if you were on a ship and it was going to sink, you wouldn't think about what you're about to do. You just go ahead and do it because you're panicking. I mean, there's literally a scene where Victor Garber's like, let's not get people in a panic, and people start to panic, obviously, because the ship's gonna sink. What do you think's gonna happen if a ship's not gonna sink? Everyone go, the second the ship is about to sink, he's like, okay, everyone go in an orderly fashion to the lifeboats. It's like, you can't do that. It's like, if a ship's about to sink, you gotta run and get away from the ship as close as possible, and that part right there, that was just really interesting to watch, because I'm sure that happened in your life. People literally jumped off the boat. There's a guy that jumps off the boat, hits, like, the propeller, and, hits, like, the part of the boat that, like, spins, or, like, I don't know what to call it, but hits his head on the boat and then jumps into the water. It's like he didn't even think about it because he wasn't going to, because the ship's about to sink. So he's not going to think about it, obviously. He's not going to think about what he's about to do. He's just going to go ahead and do it. As far as Jack and Rose go, though, it took them forever to get on those lifeboats. There were parts where I'm like, just get on the lifeboat. But then Cal had to ruin it for them, and then he just left without them. Seriously, that guy was a total dick. I said, Cal's like the biggest dick I've ever seen in movie history. One of the biggest dicks in movie history, definitely. But the thing I loved about Titanic was that Jack stood by Rose the entire time. He cared so much about her safety that he risked his own safety for her. He didn't care if he died. He didn't. He didn't care if he died. What he cared about was getting her to safety, making sure that she is safe, making sure she gets on a lifeboat. That's what he cared about, is making sure that she got on that lifeboat and she was safe. And that's what was so good about the movie. And that part of the movie honestly made me tear up, because it's like Rose is all alone, she wakes up, and Jack is dead. And it's so sad, because there's a part in the movie that's so sad to watch. When that guy went out and he's like, is anyone alive out there? Is anyone alive out there? And no one's responding because they're all dead. It's so sad, because, again, it actually happened. And that's what's so good about this movie, is that it actually happened. This actually happened to people. They stayed in water sitting there dead. They just floated in the water dead and motionless because they died of hypothermia. It's just so sad what happened, definitely. And definitely that's one of the saddest parts about this movie by far. And then eventually, he does bring Rose to safety. She gets on, she ends up going, I don't remember where she goes to. After that. She goes to New York. They take the survivors to New York. And when she gave her name as Rose Dawson, that's when I started to cry, because it's just like, that shows that she wanted to be Jack's wife. If Jack would have still been alive, they would be married right now, and they can't be, and it was just so sad when Jack was lying there motionless. It really was. But when Cal committed suicide, he kind of deserved that in the end. But then, of course, the ending of the movie, we go back to the present, that guy decides, the treasure hunter Brock, he decides, you know what, if it's really yours, you can keep it. Rose goes up, throws the heart of the ocean into the sea, and she falls asleep in her bed. She ends up dying, and then she goes, back up to heaven. It opens the Titanic doors, meets up with Jack, and basically she's in heaven, and they reunite back in heaven. And that was just such a great way for the movie to end, in my opinion. that was such a perfect way to end it, and really, the whole point of the movie, the movie is about several things. One of the things about the movie definitely is survival. Definitely that's one of the biggest messages of the movie is, how are you going to survive in this situation? The other big thing about the movie is, bonding. How they were a pair that could not be broken. They stuck by each other so much, and they stood by each other so much. They never, there was a scene where Rose is about to get on a boat, literally goes away from the boat because she knows Jack is not going to make it, so she wants to stay with Jack. And the way that scene is portrayed was just so well done, and I absolutely love the way that scene was portrayed. And that's one of the best things about the movie, was just the way that scene was portrayed in particular, I thought was absolutely amazing. And this movie was just so amazing. And I'm not kidding you guys. From the moment that we got to, from the moment we saw the treasure hunters open up the thing and saw, open up that crate and saw the heart of the ocean, from there, I love the movie. There was not one point in this movie that I thought was bad. There was not one thing, not one single scene that I did not love about this movie, and that is why this movie deserves to be watched by everyone. That is why this movie is an absolute classic in my opinion, and that is why this movie is not only the best classic movie reviewed, it is probably, sorry guys, it is probably my favorite movie of all time. It is absolutely fantastic. It is a movie that I recommend all of you check out, because it is absolutely fantastic. Now, guys, we have finally come to that really sad moment where I only have one more classic movie to review for you guys. And I'm going to tell you guys this, I'm not watching it till tomorrow. I want to do it tomorrow. I want to do this right. I want to have the last movie on a Sunday so I can review, I have one movie to review that day. And definitely you guys are really going to look forward to the way, to the movie I have to review for you guys. Definitely a great movie I have to review. I don't think it's going to be as good as this one. I don't think so. But I really hope it is. It is a classic, definitely, and you guys definitely want to stick around for that. But, yeah, that's basically it for my review of Titanic. I'm sorry if you thought I was overreacting, but I'm not kidding you guys. I'm not overreacting at all. Sorry, guys, I need a drink there. I'm not overreacting at all. Titanic truly is the best movie I have ever seen, and it really is a movie that all of you definitely need to watch because it is fantastic. But that's basically it for my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely just check out Titanic. If you guys haven't, just check it out right now. Check it out right now. Stop as I said, pause the video, go watch it, do whatever you have to do, go watch it, because it's amazing. It's a fucking masterpiece. But I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for my final classic movie review of this year. I know, really sad. Probably going to be an extremely long review, like this one was. This is my longest classic movie review, I just realized, and my longest movie review in general. But, that's because I love this movie to death. But I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for my final classic movie review. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.